I think the main thing Joe is saying here, and I want you to respond, Destiny, is like, I think he's pointing out, guns don't kill people. It's not the gun that's killing people. We have to look at the person. And he's pointed out, mental illness. He's pointed out prescription drugs and different activities that are getting young people aggressive, and they're not in good homes and all that. So what do you say to that argument that he's saying, look, it's obviously, yes, guns are powerful. He's been in the military and he knows that, but it's not the gun itself that is hurting people. It is those individuals that are messed up in the head.
This is like classic, like whataboutism, and then pivoting to other topics, like and false dilemmas, like all rolled into one. I think that we absolutely can do a lot more in the United States for things related to mental health, for things related to keeping families together, for things related to keeping education facilities functioning in a better way, right? More extracurricular programs and after school stuff. I don't disagree with any of that. I don't think anybody would disagree with any of that. But we can't sit here and pretend that guns are a non-issue when the United States is the only country that has this problem and has a lot of things in common with other countries that don't have these problems. For every issue you bring up, maybe we have a few more mentally ill people in the United States, sure. Maybe we prescribe some more drugs in the US than in other countries, sure. But none of these like tiny things are explaining the massive discrepancy in gun violence that exists in the United States compared to these other countries. We have a unique problem in the US, and it's related to gun violence, and the gun is the lone variable there that seems to explain most of the people that die to guns.
What's the difference between a gun being used for hunting versus a gun being used for mass shooting? It's the person. What's the difference between a truck being used as a mode of transportation versus a vehicle being used to run into a crowd full of people at a parade? The person. It's a people issue. It's not a gun issue. It's a fucking tool. The people are the issue that we have to look at. So it's not gun control. It's not banning guns. It's not doing this and that. It's looking at the individuals, at the people.
Okay, so cars are used for a lot of things in society. Guns, 99% of the time, are used recreationally.
But you can understand. You understand what I'm saying, though, right? The difference between a gun being used for hunting.
Argument. This would be like me.
No, it's not.
Yeah, this would be like me saying there should be no speed limits in the United States because speeding can't kill somebody, and it can't. If you're going fast, that doesn't cause an accident. Now, losing control, losing traction, driving, for unsafe weather conditions, turning too quickly.
Yes, but what I'm saying, there's a fucking person behind that goddamn gun, right?
Okay.
So I could take this gun and I can use it to kill somebody, or I can have it on my fucking side and I could choose not to shoot somebody. I could be there as a sheepdog to make sure other people aren't hurt. I can get in the fucking behind the wheel of my vehicle and I can drive it down the road and make a left turn and a right turn. I can put on my turning signal, or I can decide, hey, I'm going to drive into this fucking crowd of people. So the only difference is it's not the fucking tool, it's the person using it.
These same people exist all across.
My wife is going to have to let her in. I'll be right back.
All right. Go ahead, Destiny.
Just gotta open up the studio and let her in real quick. Hold on.
All right, no worries. Go ahead, Destiny.
Well, I gotta wait for him to come back, right?
Okay, wait for him to come back. Here, I'll read a couple of these super chats.
Super chat.
Rev up those super chats. All right. Destiny's dumb opinions are not his fault. He grew up in a home with lead paint.
Nice.
Ooh. Is that true?
I don't think so, but who knows?
All right. Someone else said, terroristic threats are felonies in the vast majority of states and not that hard to get a conviction. Baked asked Destiny, why is he using statistics that include suicides and citing them as homicides?
I haven't used a single statistic that includes suicide. The guy that just donated has no idea what he's talking about. If I was including suicides, then I would be citing 30,000 deaths a year, not 8,000 to 10,000 deaths a year.
Okay, let me finish that super chat. Yeah. He said, when suicides are removed, the U.S. is better than most of the world.
That's just not true.
Okay, so what can you say your stats again as far as...
I think it's like something like 30 to 35,000 people a year are killed with firearms in the United States. The homicide rate is like 8,000 to 12,000, I think, are killed per year. Okay. I've never cited including the suicide rate, although I think you can. I think that's valid, but I'm not even going to try to have that argument right now. But I'm only talking homicides, which is like around like 10,000 a year, I think.
Right. Okay, so why don't we go back to Joe's point?
Yeah, so this comparison of guns to vehicles is like totally nonsensical because vehicles are used for a whole bunch of things in society. If you were to remove all the vehicles from society, you would destroy like common society. It wouldn't function. People wouldn't be able to get to work or get their kids to school, or everything would just completely and totally be destroyed. Firearms have a pretty unique purpose. You said it, hunting and killing people. Both of those are killing things. I don't think that people use guns in the same way that we use cars, or that they have anywhere near the same economic impact. And then also the idea that it's not the tool, it's the person. Well, tools help people do things, right? You have all these types of people that exist all over the world. I don't think Americans are especially violent, like intrinsically violent compared to other people, but we have guns, so we're able to kill ourselves way better than other people are able to, which I think is a problem.
What was it, like 130 people were stabbed in China on a train, with a fucking knife.
Okay,
People
one time.
find a way to,
have to do with
but I'm saying that people will find that
they
has a
don't.
very good point.
You're lying.
That has a very good point.
You're lying.
Listen,
You're saying people will find a way, but they don't in other countries.
People will find something.
They
People
don't.
will find
Nobody's going to find a
do
way
it.
to take a knife and stab 500 people in Las Vegas. It's not going
They
to happen.
fucking people, but yeah, because there's people with fucking guns in America. That'd be stupid. They get gunned the fuck down.
All the people with the guns in America haven't seemed to help anybody so far.
I would say that's kind of a big negative. If you look at the shooting at the church here in Texas.
Cool. And I would say that's kind of a big positive. Look at how many people died with guns in the United States. Sure, maybe some people stop shootings from happening, but it's a huge problem in the US that a ton of people still died to guns.
Okay, and it's going to happen because bad people exist. It's
bad
not
people
the fucking
exist
gun.
in other
It's
countries.
Yes,
it's the guns that let
and they
people
still
kill
do.
people.
But they're doing other stuff. They're driving fucking vehicles into people.
But not as much as we kill each other with guns.
And in a country where you can't have guns, they still go into a theater and gun people down.
But they don't have as many people die from their violent people. A violent person in the United States is able to kill way more people than a violent person in Europe because they have.
And how could we stop that? Take away gun-free zones.
Allow more guns. Armed. So
yes,
when we look at all the rest of the, so when we look at
more guns.
So all the other parts of Europe,
I want to be able
to
have
guns.
Every situation with a gun on my side.
What are you going to do in a school? What are you going to do in a school when a teacher steps into a hallway to get rid of a student that's being violent and accidentally shoots and kills another student that wasn't one holding a gun? What are you going to do when a kid gets
you act like we're just going to hand out fucking guns like it's candy. There's a responsibility behind it. What we have to do is stop acting like it's a taboo thing to talk about in schools and start talking about guns. Learn the guns, respect the gun, fear the gun, have smart parents that will teach you about the gun, have the school talk about it, teach people first aid, stop being sheep led to the slaughter and be fucking sheepdog, Roger.
I don't think you should have to be a sheepdog or a warrior, a Taliban ISIS fighter to go to second grade and survive your day-to-day classes. That's insane. I mean,
more people with guns works every fucking time.
It doesn't in the United States. It seems like it fails every fucking year. If we look at the numbers, every single year, more people are killed in the United States than across the entire continent of Europe. It doesn't seem like it's working.
We were talking about the school shootings and all that. Aren't pretty much all schools, I believe, are gun-free zones, right?
Sure.
Not all.
Not all. Most.
Well, I know, like in the University of Texas, I think you can like carry guns on campus. I think you can conceal carry.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder if someone could see if there's any statistics on like the schools that you're allowed to carry guns versus the gun-free zones, if there's a correlation between the violence. Real quick, I want to read a super chat. Someone said, rifles account for less than 10% of all gun murders. More people are killed by knives, blunt objects, and bare hands in the U.S. each year than are killed by rifles, according to the official FBI statistics on homicide.
Yeah, we've already said that, and it's less than 10%. It's probably closer to 5%.
Right. Okay. Go on.
I don't know who was making a point. I feel like the idea that every other country has way less guns than us and way less homicide. The United States has way more guns than everybody else and way more homicide. And our solution is to have more guns. That just seems to be moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah, but if it says that violent crime is drastically dropping, right now things are getting better, statistically speaking. So this whole like, hey, let's make a change. You don't broke something. You don't fix something that's broke or that isn't broke. You don't go in and change them. So right now, if everything's drastically dropping right now, then why would we go in and throw in something that could throw that the fuck off?
You're comparing us to ourselves. We're the retarded kid in class who was getting 40% Fs in all of our grades on all of our classes, and now we're getting 65% Fs in all of our classes, while everybody else in school is getting 90s, A's, and B's. And you're saying, well, look, we're getting 60%. Why do we want to change anything? Let's keep failing in every conceivable way. Yes, violent crime is dropping relative to our own previous homicide rates, but we're still appalling when you compare us to the rest of the Western world that doesn't have the problems that we do here with gun violence.
Joe?
Oh, it cut out. I didn't even hear anything for a minute.
Oh, okay. Repeat that last part, Destiny.
We're comparing our violent crime relative to our own violent crime, which has been dropping. But it's like saying that a kid that gets 40% in school, who's getting like 60% now, compared to the rest of the class that's been getting A's and B's the entire time, that this kid is doing fine because he's doing way better than he used to be doing. So we're just going to leave him alone and let him continue to fail every class. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We have a unique problem with guns. Even though it's been improving, we still have a unique problem with homicides related to guns that's unique compared to every other Western country in the world that we would consider ourselves comparable to.
I mean, I can just tell you, man, an armed society is a fucking polite society.
Cool, and the data proves you wrong. I don't. I think this is your feeling. I don't care about how you feel.
But I'm saying we don't have the ability to do that right now. We can see the gun-free zones aren't working, right? Because these people
not in Europe. They seem to be doing a lot better than Europe. In the United States.
Let's look at America. This is America. This is where we live.
Okay, and in America, people are telling me that I need to send my kid to school in a fucking Kevlar backpack. That's fucking insane.
It is fucking insane.
I don't want to do that. You guys get on the radio. You make fun of ISIS training kids to be soldiers and killing people when they're 9 years old, and you want to do that to my 6 or 7 year old son. You want to tell him that he needs to take fucking Krav Maga so that he can disarm an AR-15 shooter in his fucking like going between recess and PE. That shit's insane. Or that a bunch of kids are in a classroom and like
to walk around like a weak. Why would you want your kid to walk around like a weak person? You want our children.
It's not about walking around like a weak person. It's about having a reasonable expectation that my kid should be able to go to school and it not be a fucking war zone. I don't want my kid. I don't want to say, "What did you do in class today?" And he's like, "Oh, well, you know, Miss Johnson had to go get the fucking Glock out of the closet because Susie was acting up in gym again, and she had to fucking dome her to get her out of the class because she was about to go crazy." Like, I don't want to hear this shit going on at my school. Like, it's insane. I don't know how only Americans can think this is reasonable, that our teachers need to fucking suit up and John Wick their way down the halls and kill like other students that are shooting up this. That shit, like, this should sound insane to you. I can't believe that I even have to like give an explanation for how fucking crazy this is.
Destiny, I have to ask you one thing. So you think it's crazy that people need guns to protect themselves? And before this debate, I was actually sent a video of you grabbing a gun because there was a spooky noise in your house. So why do you think that you're entitled to own a gun and protect yourself with a gun, but other people aren't?
I like firearms. I think they're really cool, and I've never said that I don't think people should be allowed to have firearms. I love firearms. This is why I'm against blanket weapon bans.
You just said you don't want to live in a world where kids or teachers or people in schools need to use firearms. So why should you be able to
hold on. What is contradictory between me saying I think people should be allowed to own firearms and I don't want teachers to have to own firearms to prevent mass executions in school?
Why are you better than the teacher? Why are you more qualified than a school teacher who's watching over the lives of precious children?
Because it's the same reason like celebrities can have guns. They can have armed guards. The same reason our politicians can have.
Come on. Celebrities and politicians.
They can have walls and we can't.
Celebrities and politicians are the types of people that have a reasonable expectation that they will be targeted by other people for violent activities. Children in schools should not have that expectation.
But they are. It doesn't matter about the expectation.
Yeah, okay, they are, but only in America. So we have a problem that is unique to us that we need to fix. I don't think it's fair to say that some guy that has 10 million fans or whatever, well, he's got security. Of course he's got security. When you're that big, you're always going to attract some number of people that are trying to fucking kill you. It's just the inevitability of being that huge. But that shouldn't apply to every single school kid in the United States. I mean, there are people that are probably targeting celebrities all over the world. There aren't people that are shooting kids in schools all over the world. That's just an American thing. And also, I own a firearm as a private citizen because it's something that I enjoy doing. I like shooting my rifle. I like shooting my gun, but it's in the capacity of a private citizen that owns a gun. I don't care if teachers own guns, but there's a huge difference between a teacher owning a gun and a teacher having a gun stocked in a classroom so that they can go down the hallways to execute other students that are like mass shooting people. This is a totally different thing.
Then I guess we'll just pretend that that's not happening. Sorry, teachers, you can't have a gun. We can't overnight change the environment we live in. We can't change the society that's been created over time. Right now, we do live in a world where this type of stuff happens. We live in a country where this type of stuff happens. We can live in lefty fantasy la la land where everyone has unicorns and rainbows and shit like that. We can blink our eyes and exist somewhere else where that doesn't happen. But that's not the case. We are going to wake up tomorrow in an area where there's another person just like Nicholas Cruz who's fucking psychotic, who's planning something, is going to do something. So I'd feel safer as a parent. I have a daughter to send my kid into a school if that school has the proper training, and the proper firearms instruction and the know-how of fucking first aid and things like that, and post those people out there. I think the Broward County Sheriff did a great job by saying, hey, we're going to train these police officers. We're going to give them all the training they need to put them out there and post them up to make sure that nothing happens. And it doesn't have to happen for a long time. Who knows how long it would happen for? But it's going to make people think about or rethink whether or not they're going to go and carry something out like that. Like, why is that such a bad idea to put armed security out there at the school? Yeah, it sucks that we have to do that, but this is where we live. This is how it is. No fantasy will change that.
If somebody's basement was flooded up to their waist, okay, and the person goes downstairs and is like, yo, my basement is flooded. This is fucked up. I need to fix this. You wouldn't tell the person, stop living in liberal la la land. Go get some undergarments and get some like rubber pants and boots so that you can wade through your basement that's flooded with water and learn to deal with it, you liberal fucking cuck. Like, you're such a little liberal pansy. No, you would tell the person, okay, do what you need to do now to protect yourself, but you need to drain your fucking basement. You
but that's something
no.
specific to one person's home.
This is something
look, we live in a fucking country where goddamn shootings are going to happen, you fucking retard. And people need to go. You want kids to go out there without the fucking protection. It doesn't matter. This is the country we live in, so we have to talk about what the fuck's happening in this goddamn country. I don't care what the fuck's happening in fucking France. I don't care what's happening in fucking Bangladesh. I don't care what's happening in fucking Wakanda. I know what's happening.
You want to live in conservative fantasy land. Where fucking Chuck Norris is stationed outside every fucking classroom to roundhouse kick people like everybody's going to be a fucking hero. You think a teacher that gets paid $35 a year is going to go risk their fucking life to kill some kid with a rifle in the hallway? Fuck that shit. Come on, man. This is not realistic. Like, can we talk about more security at schools? Sure, that would be a great idea, but we have to fix this problem that is very unique to the United States, and we can't pretend that there are no solutions. We're the only country on the planet that comparable to other countries that deals with this shit, okay? So we need to figure out how to make it stop.
Yeah, but everybody who bitches about this all the time, everybody brings a problem to the table, but they don't bring a fucking solution. So if you have a solution,
5 of them.
No, but they're not good because you're acting like this is just going to happen.
No, I'm not, Joe. This is a difficult problem that's going to have difficult solutions. We need to open it up to research. We need to pilot a bunch of programs to see what works. You're living in this world there where we exist in an environment right now.
You live in Wakanda, dude. I live in America, man. This shit.
I live in America just as much as anyone else, okay? Listen, we have a problem right now. If I can't give you the perfect fucking solution, we're not allowed to try anything at all. That's ridiculous. What we have right now is not acceptable. Just because I can't give you the 100% surefire way of stopping the homicides in the United States from gun violence doesn't mean we can't try anything at all. And maybe if we open up the CDC to study more gun violence and gun-related crimes, maybe we can figure out better solutions for ways to fix these problems.
Well, let's look at what's defined as a school shooting, too. And this is done by everytownresearch.org. Defines a school shooting as any time a firearm discharges around, inside, or into a school building or onto a school campus or grounds as documented by the press. And when necessary, confirmed by law enforcement. So when you see these statistics and you see that, oh my God, this is happening all the time. These mass shootings are crazy. It's happening all the time. If a fucking jackass drives his car in or around a school and shoots himself in the head, that's a school shooting compared to these people by leftists.
Are you trying to say that you can just hand wave all the school shootings that happen in the U.S. off because some of the statistics might be a little bit inflated because of this?
It says right here, 290 school shootings in America since 2013. That's fucking horseshit. Because if you look at their fucking definition of this, it says anytime a firearm discharges a live round inside or into a school building or onto a school. So that means there could be a gang fucking fight across the street and a stray bullet hits the building. That's considered a school shooting.
Okay, so maybe we take away those, and the real number is just 100 mass school shootings since 2013. Is that better? Would that make you happier? Is that an acceptable number to you?
But that could still be fucking stopped by putting armed security out there.
There were 2 armed security guards at the fucking school, Joe.
Crazy people exist, and crazy people take advantage of the fucking weak. Crazy people exist, and crazy people take advantage of the weak.
Crazy people exist all over the world, but the United States is the only one where they kill people in schools.
Okay, you don't see a 5'8" rapist trying to rape China. That's the big...
Regarding the school shooting,
the gun is the great equalizer. The gun is the great equalizer.
Let me read the super chat real quick. Then I'll get back to you guys. Soren 305 said only 160 school shooting deaths since 2010. This is overblown. Only roughly 200,000 gun homicides since 1999, which is 0.04% of our yearly deaths. This is a perfectly reasonable trade-off for freedom.
I mean, I disagree. When owning firearms is a recreational thing, and I don't think that when we have to arm every single person in a school, I don't think this is a reasonable trade-off. I could accept reasonable trade-offs in other areas.
Would you be willing to give up your gun, Destiny, if it meant that people would be more safe? Would you give up your gun?
I really wouldn't want to, and I don't think the types of things that I advocate for. Well, I'm not arguing to take guns away from everybody. Alaska, that's not what I want. What I want are targeted things that find. So I'm never in favor of banning a particular type of gun. I would never say we need to ban assault rifles, whatever the fuck that means, or ban AR-15s, or ban semi-automatic rifles, 30 round magazine, whatever. I've never been in favor of that. What I've been in favor of is we need to find out what types of people commit crimes and how do we prevent these types of people from getting firearms. I've never been in favor of blanket bans on firearms.
Problem.
Okay, all right.
So can you just? I would like you to be more specific. Joe's been pretty specific. You got to be more specific with what. I mean, do you want background checks? You sort of at the beginning said there's this problem, but you don't really know the solution, and it's.
I've listed several. Like here's another one related to the mental health thing. For instance, go ahead.
Can you just say what are actual solutions that you can say, not things like, oh, we need to figure it out. We need like tell me right now, like background checks, like.
Okay, so here's I've already mentioned specifically maybe people that committed gun-related misdemeanor crimes, which don't prevent you from getting guns. Maybe that's something that needs to happen. I'm pretty sure I listed the FBI that can put you on a no-fly list but can't put you on a no-gun list. Maybe that's something that needs to happen. Now that process would have to be opened up because there is no appeals process. There's no due process for FBI no-fly list stuff. So I know there's issues with that, of course. Here's a specific thing, another specific thing, because I have listed some. If you are committed to a mental institution, that precludes you from purchasing a firearm. However, if you have severe mental problems but you are not committed, you are still able to purchase a firearm. Right now, if you go to like some sort of therapist or a mental health advisor or whatever, if you are an imminent threat to another person, they have an obligation to inform authorities, despite the fact that you've got like patient confidentiality. So for instance, if I go to my therapist and I say, listen, I'm really going to go home and kill my family tonight, even though you have confidentiality, that therapist will still contact the police and let them know what's going on. Maybe some type of similar thing needs to be made for people that are severely mentally ill. Say you've got a guy that is showing tendencies that are very much in line with people that would acquire a firearm to commit mass shootings. Maybe they should be able to recommend people to additional screening or some sort of preclusion from obtaining firearm as well. The reason why I don't know exactly what the answers are is because the way that you would go about studying this, I imagine, is you would create a profile of a mass shooter. You would retroactively apply this to all other mass shooters. You would see how accurate it works and how many people you catch in that net. And then these are the types of solutions that you would recommend for saying that like these types of people shouldn't be allowed to acquire firearms. Again, if the CDC was allowed to actually publicly study this stuff and make recommendations, I could probably have even more specific recommendations for you. But I think that these are probably better paths forward than we need to have every single teacher with a gun and every single kid with a Kevlar backpack and, 55 Green Berets and Navy SEALs stationed, inside every single school when we're already struggling to fund our schools. We don't even know where this money is going to come from.
Okay. So someone, the chat's saying you just admitted you had a therapist.
I don't think so.
Okay. Someone said, I support laws preventing nuts like Destiny from access to guns when they make homicidal threats like Destiny did to that kid and his family. I'm not sure what they're talking about, but I think the question is like, some people might think you're a nut and you might think
it's not about some people. It's about mental health professionals. This isn't just like,
so
Uncle
that sounds similar. That sounds similar to what Joe was saying.
From what I've learned tonight is other countries that are mostly white are not very violent compared to a lot of these countries, or to America, where it's a very diverse group of people that are coming here and they're carrying out stuff. So now because of that, we got to ban guns, and little Timmy has to walk into school unprotected because, we all know that criminals follow signs that says gun free zone. They see it and they go, oh shit, I better disarm myself. Darn, I can't do it.
Can you guys hear me right now?
Criminals,
is this working?
Yeah.
No, it's not working at all. It just keeps coming out as fuck.
Oh, yeah. Okay.